Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Ryan and thank you for joining me for my series where I am having a little first impressions review or just a casual discussion about the Ian Fleming 007 books. And today we're going to be talking about Dr. No. So again, same as always, we'll start off by just having a quick look at the actual the hardback. I can actually see the inside bit nicely with this one. And to start off with, I realised in the previous video what I did from Russia with Love, I forgot to put on Her Majesty's Secret Service back, because that's the one I'm currently reading. So I've only got 4 more videos until I catch up with that book, and the way that I'm going, I might be like halfway through it by the time I upload The Spy Who Loved Me, but who knows. But yeah, so to start off with, this book, like in terms of comparing it to the movie, overall, fairly similar. Overall, like, you know, the overarching story, very similar, like adapted quite well. But there are loads of little details, or maybe not so much little details, a load of details that are changed or just omitted entirely. Like, I can't remember which of the 2 bits this starts off. So look, loud and clear. Yeah, so it starts off the same kind of bit with the British like operative in Jamaica who has to you know, do his rounds every time. He starts off, he's playing cards or whatever with a few mates there, and then you got the 3 black guys with the 3 blind mice, and they shoot him, and then they go to his like hut or whatever and kill the woman there as well. That's all the same in the book version. There's one big difference, which I'm not even sure if YouTube would allow me to say it, despite the fact it's in the book. And it's a thing I've never come across before. If I find it here, I'll show you so you can read it yourself. Here we go. There it is. There's the split apart version. Where's the word itself? There it is. It's right there. So I've never come across this. So if you come across this, it's wild. I'm not sure if you can read it. So there's that bit right there. Look, right there. And then it says down here. That's what it means. So I found this very odd because, as I mentioned in what was it, Live and Let Die? That these books have a load of censoring. So it surprised me that this apparently is not worth censoring. But yeah, so that's one thing. But yeah, so that the start is the same with that, with you know, the British Secret Service's operative in Jamaica being killed, and then, like, you know, their sort of radio contact just ending. But then the next part, which is different, obviously Bond doesn't just get his mission and go to Jamaica as it is in the movie. Bond is currently in a I'm not sure if it's like a rehabilitation facility or a hospital or both, because obviously at the end of From Russia with Love he was poisoned. So in this book, Bond begins his journey with being you know, told he can leave. He's now not so much got a clean bill of health, but he's healthy enough. He doesn't have to be stuck in the hospital anymore. He's allowed to go and sort of do some light work. So the doctor phones M and tells M to actually cut him some slack. Don't give him, like, a, you know, a really difficult case. He still needs to heal, and if you keep pushing him, he will break, and then he will no longer be of service to the country or to the, you know, to Queen or country, sort of thing. And M is sort of annoyed by this because Bond is his best man and he doesn't think Bond is going to break, but he eventually relents, like, right, fine, I'll send Bond to Jamaica to do this job, because as far as the British Secret Services are concerned, I can't remember the characters' names, which is, you know, no surprise at this point. I think to anyone who's watched a few of these videos, I forget a load of names. The guy who got killed and his secretary, she also got killed, same way as in the movie. The guys, like, break through the glass and shoot her in there. They think that they've hooked up and ran away together on some sort of, you know, romantic escape, but they've been murdered. So they don't realise they send him Bond into a much more serious situation. They think, fine, we'll give him an easy job, just something to ease him back into service, and then next time we'll give him something difficult to do. So I mean that's more his speed. Bond is obviously pissed off about this. He thinks he's being insulted, that they think he's going soft and that he's no longer capable of doing the difficult stuff. So Bond agrees with M in terms of the attitude towards the Doctor. Essentially, he wants to be given a difficult job, and he's offended that he's given an easy one, thinking that it shows a lack of confidence in him, essentially. But he goes to Jamaica, does the same sort of things, looking around, trying to figure out what's going on here. He gets introduced to the whole Crab Key and Dr. No, and he's going through all his investigations. I can't remember at what point he goes to Crab Key, but a big difference is Quarrel is not like just some random guy who does boats. I can't remember who introduces him to Leiter. No, not to Leiter. To Quarrel. I don't recall if Leiter is in this book. I don't think he is, because obviously in the first movie you are introduced to Leiter, since Leiter is there in Jamaica already. But in the book, at this point, Leiter is no longer CIA, and he's missing some limbs because of the shark attack. So, from what I remember, Leiter has no part in this story whatsoever. But Bond is hooked up with Quarrel, and basically Quarrel trains Bond. He has to do like loads of swimming, stops drinking and smoking, so he can be in very, very good physical condition for traveling to Crab Key. Like I say, I don't recall how they're introduced, or if it's just we have a man in Jamaica, you'll touch down and just sort out things with him. It might be as simple as that he was just told, this is our guy in Jamaica, go to him. But like I say, he does loads of training with Quarrel to get a lot more healthy, and then eventually they go to Crab Key together, same as in the movie. They got their rowboat and they row over there, and same as the movie version, they meet Honey. Although in the book, in the movie she's Honey Rider, and in the book she's Honey Chile Rider. I'm not sure if you say it Chile or Chile, but her name is a shortened for the movie version. For the movie version. And then same sort of scenario. I forgot one bit though. Similar thing with when he gets attacked, I guess. When he's in bed in the hotel, when he's first investigating Dr. No and starting to get his attention. Whereas in the movie, they put a tarantula on him, and in the book, it's a centipede. They put a big centipede on him, and then he manages to throw the centipede off him or some such and kills the centipede. I believe similar to what he did in the movie. And also, he tells Quarrel to get essentially two hobos off the street who look vaguely like both of them, give them their car and tell them to drive somewhere, and then they're going to go somewhere else. So the people who are following them and paying attention to who they are won't know, and then these people end up getting killed because obviously Dr. No is a bad man. I think the only way to really explain it properly without having to proper beat around the bush is as it is stated in the book. I will use the book's terminology, so don't be mean to me, YouTube and your guidelines. I already showed you the word is in the book and it is explained, but basically it is explained that all of the people that the Bond book, I can't find the thing now, classifies as Chigros are all spies of Dr. No, basically. So like in the movie, the Chinese secretary, and all people of that kind. But obviously in the book they're not just Chinese people, they're also black, because they are Chinese black people. They are following them around, they are giving all the information back to Dr. No and all that sort of business. I think they do the same thing with Strangways, where he comes to the girl's house and then Bond kills him. I don't recall if that same scene happens, to be honest. With Strangways, I don't remember if he is at all killed in the book. But then they get to the island. They have the same situation with the dragon, as it's called. You find out it's just like a kitted out buggy to look a bit creepy and scary. One thing about the book I really liked over the movie version is when Quarrel is burned to death by the dragon. In the movie, he doesn't seem to really care. He's just like, oh no, Quarrel, let me see if Chili or let me see if Honey is okay. But in the book, he does actually try to go over to Quarrel because he's upset that his friend has just been killed. So I really appreciated that because I found it weird and like very inhuman to just not care that this man was just burned to death right before you. So I say I really appreciate that he did actually care that Quarrel was killed. I like that scene. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Quarrel was in a different book. Quarrel was in Live and Let Die, and he trained and helped Bond get physically more capable of swimming to Morgan's cave, and that's how he done it. He swam underwater and he got attacked by an octopus, which I forgot to mention in that video. So this is the return of Quarrel. He's already appeared once, and he helps Bond train again, so he's physically capable of dealing with Crab Key. Yeah, God, how did I forget that? Well, there we are. So if anyone mentions that I didn't mention that in that video, you got it right here. I mentioned it here. I realised I forgot to mention it. Yeah, so similar also introduction as well with Chile. Oh, I keep calling her Chile. With Honey, she comes out of the water. Differences in the book, she's completely naked, and Bond is hiding under a bit of brush. Also similar to the book version, she is singing, and Bond does sing the song that she's singing, except she's not singing underneath the mango tree. I can't remember what song she's actually singing in the book. But again, like a load of that is sort of very in the same vein. They get attacked, they're running around and all that. They get attacked by the dragon, Quarrel dies, they get taken in by Dr. No's people. Same again, they get drugged when they're in their room. One difference is it shows that that Dr. No goes to their room, like what the movie did. But in the book, he actually examines both Bond and Honey's naked bodies. He just like pulls their quilt down and is just examining them from top to bottom for whatever reason. I don't think they ever tell you why he did that, but he does. And then I believe again they go to his base, like his fancy room, and he has the giant $1 million window looking out at all the fish and all that business. Also, I'm pretty sure Bond is a lot nicer to Honey in this version. And if I'm not mistaken, Honey... Is this the one? Let me have a look here. Yeah, so it is. So in this one, the big difference in terms of the dynamic between Bond and the Bond girl is Honey is, I believe, described as being a fair bit younger than Bond. And so Bond doesn't really want to like sleep with her or anything. He's just being very protective over her. He clearly has desire for her. But he's like, right, I'm older than you. I've got a job to do. And now let's just get on with it. But she is very flirtatious to Bond. She proper wants Bond. And she's always like having a laugh and joking at his expense from a sexual perspective, while Bond is trying his hardest to calm it down and keep it professional. So that's one big difference. Also, Bond doesn't shoo her away at the dinner table scene, if I remember correctly. I believe he does say, oh, get rid of the girl, we don't need her. And then that doesn't happen, and he apologizes. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean that. And again, like in the movie, she is eventually taken away. Whereas in the movie, she's just tied onto like sort of a concrete ramp with some water coming up. In the book, she's actually tied onto, I think, like the side of a mountain or something, or just like a grassy hill of some variety on a beach, maybe. I can't remember the exact location, but she's left there for hundreds of crabs to just rip her apart, basically. And then Bond goes through his business with Dr. No. He explains that he's on this island because there was something to do with birds and bird shit, and it sells for a load of money. But he also wanted it for the seclusion, and so he could do whatever he wanted, and he had cheap, labor and everything. I can't remember what Dr. No's main point is. I think it might just be the bird shit. Maybe he'll say on one of the chapter titles here, and it'll remind me. The Thing. mink-lined prison. So yeah, we already talked about that bit. Come into my parlor. Yeah, we mentioned that. Pandora's box, Horizon of Agony, The Long Scream, Killing Ground, A Shower of Death, and Slave Time. Yeah, so I can't remember what he's doing. For some reason, I've forgotten what Doctor No's overall plan was, other than he was doing something with the bird shit. And eventually then, like, Bond manages to escape, and while Doctor No is on the phone, he has this sort of, the way how I read it, imagine like a wood chipper where it's like shooting stuff out, like, you know, where a wood chipper, you put in the stuff and then it shoots out the like sawdust or the chip-ins and what have you, but it's shooting out this like weird bird shit dust stuff, and it's going onto a boat, because then they take the boat back, and then they, I guess, get loads of money from selling it to certain companies because it gets made into stuff. And Bond turns that onto Dr. No, and he is buried and suffocates to death under a giant pile of bird shit dust, which is very different from his movie counterpart, where he gets dropped into water, which is like freezing cold, I think. And because his hands are metal, he can't climb out because he has prosthetic arms. He does have the prosthetic arms as well. That is part of the book. He does have those. But yeah, he suffocates to death in shit. And then Bond meets up with with Honey again, and she stabs him, I think, with a pen in the leg, because she doesn't realize it's Bond. They escape together. I believe they get into the dragon, I think, actually. And then they manage to escape the island, go back to Jamaica, and then they do Slave Time. And Slave Time, if I remember correctly, is basically Honey demanding that Bond sleeps with her now because the mission is over, so, you know, slave time. And then you find out, like, her father died, like, in the movie, and she lived in, like, the basement of her ruined home with an old Jamaican woman who was very kind to her, until she died. She was like her guardian, basically. And as a result, Honey in the books has a very subtle Jamaican accent. She's a white woman who is very heavily tanned, obviously, because she's living in Jamaica. And she has a subtle Jamaican accent because of the woman who helped raise her. Like I say, I wish I could remember what Dr. No was after, but for some reason I just really can't remember. I think it's something similar potentially to the movie, where he's just annoyed that the rest of the world didn't appreciate him, but I genuinely don't remember. So if you want to tell me what it was, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, so overall, I gave Dr. No a 9 out of 10. Bearing in mind, these scores are generated or given just after I finished reading it, so a load of the information I haven't forgotten. And actually, before I forget, I was about to forget some big parts. Right, like in the movie, Bond is trapped in a cell, and then he escapes before eventually killing Dr. No. Can't believe I was going to forget this. This is like the best part of the book. Like the movie, the cell that he's in has a little vent which explodes kind of with electricity when he tries to go through. Both of those are the same. He goes like crawling through a vent as well in both of them. One big difference is in the movie he has to go down a tube and he eventually falls, whereas in the book he has to climb up the tube, and the fear is if he falls he'll shatter his ankles and then it's game over. When he's in the tube, as well, after he climbs up, this is where the actual spiders are. There's like a dark tunnel, and you can see tons of little red eyes in the dark. And I believe he does something with a lighter, I think, and he sets them all on fire. I can't remember how he kills them, but there's loads of spiders, and he kills all of those by burning them to death, I believe. He has the same problem where the tube is getting really hot and then really cold, because obviously Dr. No is trying to wear him down physically and emotionally, and he finally escapes that, falls into water, and this is where in the book you are introduced to Pussfella. And if you remember, in the movie, Pussfella is Quarrel's friend at like that little restaurant where the Chinese girl takes a photo of Bond after you are formally introduced to Quarrel and Leiter, and you find out that they're all on the same side. But in the book, Puss Fella is a giant octopus, and Bond has to fight this octopus in the water. Thankfully, there's like a fence for him that he climbs up on. He also made himself like 1 or 2 little makeshift spears along the way. The actual grating for the vent, I think he rolls it up and then like sharpens one end, so he's got like a metal spear that he can use on with that. And I can't remember what else he turns into spears. He might actually just have like a blade hidden on his person somewhere that he attaches onto the metal that he rounded up. But then he eventually stabs Puss Fella in the face, and Puss Fella runs away because, despite being a giant octopus, you know, if you stab something in the face or in the eyeball, wherever he stabs it, you're going to make it run away more than likely. But yeah, so I can't believe I nearly forgot that. But yeah, so you got that bit, and then that's when Bond is then free in Dr. No's compound, where he turns the shit machine on him and drowns him. Him and Honey run away. Honey sleeps with Bond, which is what she wanted throughout the entire thing. And the day has been saved from whatever it was that Dr. No was trying to do, which I still can't remember. But yeah, like I say, if you remember, if you know, please let me know, because it would be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I'm probably going to, like I say, I'm going to read this again. I gave this a 9 out of 10, which I will repeat. The scores are given just after I read the books, so it doesn't take into consideration things that I later forget, because I read this probably about like 4 or 5 months ago, something to that. No, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, something like that. But I didn't literally just read it, because obviously I just read The Spy Who Loved Me, Thunderball, For Your Eyes Only, and Goldfinger since reading this one. Now I've started The Spy Who Loved Me. I also read the final Lord of the Rings. I'm more than halfway through The Hobbit. I read loads of manga. So, you know, I'm reading other things at the same time. So me forgetting stuff doesn't get held against, you know, the book. I don't penalize the book for me forgetting stuff a few months later. But I just like doing these sort of discussion videos because it helps me remember stuff, for one, and remind me why I enjoyed the book as much as I did. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Really good Bond book. Highly recommend it. Let me know what you rate this out of 10, and where you would rank it against the other Bond books. And once I've finished reading all 14 of the books and done this video, I do plan on doing another video where I will actually show you my Bond rankings. Because as I say, certain books you can already, like, you know, piece it together where they go against the other ones. But then, say for example, Casino Royale and Dr. No are both 9 out of 10. So it's just stuff like that, so then you can actually, I will just do my full tier list, I guess, or full ranking list for the 14 Bond novels. But yeah, thank you so much. Look forward to that, and I will see you in the next book with Goldfinger. Bye now.